Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Mosta Valley. The Mosta Valley is one of the most significant and sacred sites on the Maltese Islands, and it's been relatively unexplored, you could say, in modern times. I don't think many people actually understand its significance and the role that the valley played when there was our previous civilization, which you could call the Empire of Atlantis. And as I understand it, one of the motherships descended on the valley probably around 55,000 years ago now and began a process of elevating this planet to be sufficiently light enough to support many different members of our galactic family to come and live here on Malta with us. And so that's the beginning of the story that I'd like to share with you today, because there was a previous civilization which inhabited Malta. And it wasn't just based here, the Atlantean civilization, it was spread across the whole planet. Let me read you something. It's a short extract that I wrote back in October, November 2022. It's the summary of a ceremony that occurred in October 2022. And at the time of carrying out that ceremony, I was told by my guides that this was the biggest decision I would ever make in my lifetime, would be to carry out this ceremony, which is why they want me to share it with you at this time. So let me read that document to you. There was a group of Atlanteans we shall call the prisoners. Today they would be known as dissidents or rebels. They observed their society over 20,000 years ago and began to make plans. They thought, we do not condone the madness we see around us, people taking power and using it for personal gain, taking from the world without divine purpose. We can tell many are rejecting the Lord's way. We do not wish our society to end. We see how things go if we do not change our power obsession. There will be destruction, and the Lord's will lost on earth. We cannot tolerate this. They were not terrorists. They were not going to attack anyone. Peace was their solution. They decided that we must do something spectacular if the old ways are not to be lost. We must protect Atlantis's knowledge at all costs. To do that, we're going to have to speak with the Time Lords and request a way to preserve our knowledge, a time capsule for the years to come, to protect our knowledge from those who would abuse it and destroy our civilization. We will make a pact. At the right time, we will return this sacred knowledge to the world. Those rebels were not sufficiently heard within the Atlantis civilization to alter its future, but their will was heard by the Lords of Time, and in their grace they granted them a time loop experiment. They saw the next phase of human evolution falter around 18,000 years after the encoding of the Atlanteans' knowledge. Sufficient time, they believed, for the pain of Atlantis' fall to pass over the earth plane. The prisoners, therefore, forged their plans, ideals, and knowledge, safe knowing the Time Lords would help. For over 2,000 years, that group planned their escapade for our future. They thought, with our request to the Time Lords granted, no one can change this process, and this will allow the earth to prepare for the Lord to come back in all her glory. They chose Mosta Hill as the repository of all their information. At the foot of that hill, their entrance. The records were housed there, in the earth, crystalline, unused. The records were encoded, hidden so no human would dare to dream and repeat the Atlantean feats of science. During the following times, the aspirations of humans have really been far too humble um, to gift them this knowledge. It took the correct light from the Lords of Time to bring the records back online. to open the scientific, artistic, spiritual, and technological data. It also required a special dispensation from the source of all that we are. Her will had to be involved to start the restoration. She sent a blue cord of light down through all the levels to start the process on Earth. And a ceremony took place on Mosta Hill on the 9th of October 2022 to celebrate the opening of the Atlantean records after approximately 18,000 years. It's safe to say that some of you listening to this message probably were amongst the prisoners during the time of Atlantis, and you have chosen, or your soul has chosen, for you to reincarnate at this time. And that's why this information is important, because some of us were awaiting this information so that we would know that it was safe now for us to do our real work on this planet. Because some of us have literally been waiting our entire lives to begin to do the work that we always knew we were here to do something, but we didn't know what that was, and we didn't have the tools available to us to actually do it. What there is to know is the tools are now available.